In an exchange between Carano and some Twitter asshole attempted to claim that the outraged mob was not trolling her, but instead trying to educate you so you can get on the right side of history. Well, your side of history is Stalin, 30, 40 million. Mao, the same, if not more. Pop Doc, Pol Pot, any of the Southeast Asian dictators, Central American dictators, Fidel Castro. Your side of history is the most brutal dictators in history. If that's the right side of history, then I'm going to stand with Gina Carano. Oh, we're going to do it differently this time. No, you're not. Because some of you are legitimate sociopaths, because people who are advocating for the mass extermination of people, that's kind of the definition of sociopathy. And the rest of you are just useful idiots who are the first to get pulled up against the wall. There's that meme of Stalin coming to power and there's like a half dozen guys with him. And then as he goes along, gets more and more powerful, those people just kind of disappear. So, yeah, where do you think, if you guys got in power, you wouldn't, there's always going to be one strong man who seizes power. And then there might be a small oligarchy of people. Just the most, who rises to power? The most brutal people who are willing to go to any cost. You think, it's the same in a democratic republic. No, because people can still vote. So, anyway, Gina Carano gets attacked by mental midgets. The mob knows that they can get their way. They can compel behavior by force and intimidation. It sure is a nice career you have there. It'd be a shame if something happened to it. It's not enough to not be racist. You must be anti-racist. And the president of the Libertarian Party made a tweet about that a week ago, and people got in the comments and just, are you insane? How are you a libertarian? And the thing is, most libertarians are not libertarians. Where is Aleppo, or what is Aleppo? Yeah, you're not a libertarian. You're just a commie, or you're a far leftist. So you got to be anti-racist. You got to donate to BLM. LOL Ninja what? How about go fuck yourself with that commie bullshit? Isn't that blackmail? Pay me or the harassment will never end. BML went to Cuban businesses, some restaurants, to say that they have gentrified their neighborhoods with their Spanish restaurants and that they need to pay a black tax of 1.5% to their association. Is that the cocaine and hooker fund? It would be for me, if I'm being honest. The Cubans told them to GTFO. I guess BLM doesn't think diversity is our strength. What gives teenagers on Twitter this insanely overblown sense of importance? Oh, they're raised by parents who got participation awards. So these Twitter commies are the grandkids of hippies. They are super commies. They have been drinking the distilled Marxist Kool-Aid. Their grandparents, maybe their great-grandparents, had hippie ideals, but they still got married, they settled down, but their kids were less likely to marry, so the Antifa kids of today are from broken homes or from homes with helicopter parents. They've been told that everything they utter is valid and important, that you kids will change the world. Their self-esteem is so overvalued that they've turned into sociopaths. You combine this with the media brainwashing them for 4 years that Trump is like a racist version of Satan. For some reason, they feel being racist is worse than being an actual killer, but they can't define the word. They have all different definitions. Is a word real if the definition changes daily? So the kids dress in black and they break windows and they make a mess that their parents' taxes pay for. What have they accomplished? Well, they destroyed some icons, but mostly they shot each other and they got those sweet dopamine hits. They want to get rid of the police and they will be the new police, but they'll call it something else. But, form follows function, all that kind of thing. And they fail to see the humor in that. They're rioting for George Floyd or like something. Did you guys see the arrest video? If that video came out the first night, would there be any riots? At some point, you got to ask, what do you want the cops to do? You have a guy driving around intoxicated on fentanyl, passing counterfeit money. Should we as a society allow him to run people over? Do you want to just give him a pass? Do you want to outlaw the knee on the neck technique, which is fine with me, but why haven't I heard anyone propose that? At this point, the mob doesn't know what it wants. It just wants to make noise. The mob is a spoiled kid who gets whatever she wants more, never gets told no, finally has a temper tantrum. The worst thing you can have with a mob is a weak mayor. So naturally, Oregon and Washington have weak mayors. I guess weak mayors are sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If the mayor told the police to just go out there and kick the hell out of the Antifa BLM guys at the beginning, and they prosecuted every case, we would never be in the mess we're in right now. And yes, we're in a mess. We're in deep, deep shit. In good times, you can have weak leftist mayors as long as the populace obeys the social contract to police themselves. George Floyd didn't do that, and to be fair, neither did the cops. Remember, the other cops were just standing around and watched him put a knee on this guy's neck for 8 minutes. America is accelerating in an interesting direction. Think about it. You have a chance of riots every time a person is killed by a cop. The options are to ignore crime, which would collapse society overnight, or to segregate into different geographic areas for different ideologies. I don't know if that sounds crazy. Do you think social workers would have handled that situation any differently? Would you apply for the job? No gun, just your words? Good luck with that. What does this have to do with Gina? It's the same people harassing her. It's the same energy. Say BLM or we'll ruin your career. Okay, fine. Now say ACAB. All cops are bastards. Okay, fine. Now donate money to BLM. Okay, fine. How much? Because I get the feeling that it will never be enough. And isn't that money secretly going into the Democrats' treasure chest? And it's funny, Bank of America donated $1 billion over probably a decade or something. And these other companies did also. So who's overseeing that money? Where's it going to go? That surprisingly doesn't get talked about a whole lot. So you're donating this money to BLM. What are the odds it's going to go towards a political association? I see the odds of that are very, very, very high. But if you say, oh, you're donating money to the Democrats, they'll go, oh, well, so what? You're not supporting Trump, are you? Say you support Biden or your career is done. It will never end until people stand up to them. It's a reason why Comicsgate is so important. Comicsgate is a small group of people standing up against the cancel culture mob. All this is political intimidation to force public figures into supporting left-wing causes. If Brie Larson were to come out and support Trump, do you think she would ever make another film? It would be the same as saying that you're retiring. As a consequence, the public face of Hollywood is 100% left-wing. If you want to know who the right-wingers are in Hollywood, they're the quiet ones. They go to awards, they thank everybody, and they sit down, no political speeches. One day, very soon, that won't be enough. Remember what they say, it's not enough to be not racist, you have to be anti-racist. You have to give speeches and donate money. Just consider it the BLM tax. In blue states, they elect council members and mayors and governors who will gladly make that tax official. Why not just seize inheritances of white people and donate it to BLM, which of course is really going to go to the DNC, who will pass more taxes, probably for white people. This is what liberals want. It's what they voted for. Eventually they'll wake up, but by then it will be too late. It's actually too late now, but people haven't really sat down to think about the long-term repercussions of the, well, I guess I won't say, because that YouTube algorithm doesn't play around. So I was flipping through the Mary Sue, and they were talking about Zoe Kravitz's show getting canceled. She's Lisa Bonet's daughter, I guess. It was a remake of a 90s show with John Cusack, and if you've seen John Cusack movies, you know they're unbelievably awesome. Just fantastic, fantastic slices of 80s film life. They were lightning in a bottle. The movie was about him talking about his last 5 girlfriends or something. So they redo it, but of course, they use a girl this time, and the show gets canceled. Shocking. But the Mary Sue doesn't make the connection. Instead, they complain, get ready for it, that there weren't enough obese women in it, and the obese women and women of color, that were in it didn't have enough screen time. I want to ask them, you guys realize that the show was canceled. Do you suspect that the woke stuff is appealing to such a tiny segment of society that the show can't make money? But they don't seem to care if a show has viewers. It just needs to be made and kept on the air, even if nobody watches it. And if there's a show that other people enjoy, but it's wrong think, then it must be taken off the air. They couldn't just not watch it. SJWs are the Puritans of the 1980s. The left wing used to protest for free speech. Now they want to ban speech. In the 60s, there were true liberals mixed with the commies. But the commies went into academia to ensure that schools produced more commies. Their comrades went into the government and law to push Marxist, feminism, single motherhood, anything that contributes to the breakdown of society. And you get what we have now. We voted our way into this, but we're not going to vote our way out. And yeah, I know that's a little heavy for a video about the Mandalorian, but things happen for a reason, and I don't think her career is going to suffer because she is unique enough that she can't be easily replaced. Someone like Brie Larson is a dime a dozen. Hollywood is full of girls like her. And obviously you see this same thing happening in the comics and the Hugo Awards. A left-wing parasite gets involved with something that you enjoy, and their first and only goal is to destroy it and take away whatever pleasure you have in your hobby. Because deplatforming is what they do, because they can't debate they can't debate in an open forum because they have fundamentally bad ideas. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, guys. I'll see you all next episode.